Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sights on Sinnoh, episode 13. Here I am again with Greg. How are you doing this week?
Pretty good. How you doing?
All right, just getting through the summer. It's starting to pick up the heat, at least here in California.
It's a million degrees.
Oh my gosh, yeah. At least I'm not in Palm Springs. That's just another level. Happily near the coast, trying to hit the beach when I can.
It'll be
But yeah.
95 tomorrow.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's not fun. Wait, 95 where you're at?
Yeah. We've had a
Jeez.
super weird early heat snap. So it's been in the 90s for 2 weeks now.
What?
And
Oh
because
my
we have so many
gosh.
lakes with the humidity, it feels like 102.
Oh
It's just been
no.
miserable outside.
Oof. Yeah, I'm glad we don't have that issue here too much. I like went to Texas years ago and I was like, no, I'm staying inside. I'm not doing this. It's like I can't handle this.
Yeah, it's
But yeah,
abysmal.
it's sorry, go ahead.
And then it's just abysmal here.
Okay. Well, hopefully you get some time to flee to New Jersey or wherever is your destination of choice for some summer relaxation.
I mean, I'm just
Uh,
inside an AC, so I don't really have to deal
okay.
with it.
That's also good. That's perfect. Glad to hear you have some escape at home there at least. But yeah, here on Sights on Sinnoh, we're covering the Diamond and Pearl anime, and we are now at episode 22 this week. So we're making it through almost halfway there. And this episode is titled Borrowing on Bad Faith.
And
So,
I still
mhm.
don't really get the title.
Okay. Yeah, well,
It's a weird title
really?
for what happens. Because she doesn't borrow on bad faith. Like, she borrows and does real good.
Yeah, I mean,
like they do exactly what they say they're going to do. There's no bad faith in this.
well, I have a theory as we get through,
Okay.
but let me read the blurb first. But good. I'm glad you come in heated to this. Uh, when Ash and his friends pass a village that's holding an informal Pokemon contest, where the prize is a year's supply of fruit, Dawn is eager to enter. Ash is just eager to get his hat back once Aipom grabs it and runs off as usual. But Aipom runs too far and then ends up stranded on a perilous spire of rock. This is straight from Bulbapedia. I'm not
Yeah.
making this up.
Yeah. I mean, that happens.
Yeah. And then Team Rocket wants to enter the contest too, specifically Jessie, and sees her chance when she rescues Aipom. And as thanks for the rescue, she persuades Ash to let her borrow Aipom for the contest. And even Aipom seems to be eager to make the switch.
I mean, Aipom is eager to be with anybody but Ash. Let's be real.
That's
Aipom's
sadly fitting.
This dude's not good. He just has good. Just has good hat choices.
Apparently, yeah, he's stolen his Hoenn hat. He stole his Sinnoh hat. And like someone says at some point that that's how he shows affection to Ash. So I guess, but yeah, this is a weird one for Aipom's character to say the least, because it runs off, gets stuck on this rock, and Jessie is just infatuated by how cute Aipom looks and carries a like full log over to this gap so she can get over it to
super
rescue Aipom. Yeah, she just learned strength
her mom
apparently.
to the rescue. Also, this is the same Aipom from Hoenn. Didn't they meet in Hoenn? And she acts like
No, they met in Kanto actually because it was during the Battle Frontier arc.
Oh right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she's never seen an Aipom before.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
I mean, being blasted off that many times, I'm assuming comes with major head trauma. So I forgive them for constantly forgetting things.
Apparently, yeah.
They have lots of concussions, just sort of wrecking house.
Just really put some Swiss cheese in those memories.
Yeah.
But this ends up working somehow in this like weird roundabout way. She gets Aipom rescued, and Ash sees them with it, and is like, "Oh, thanks, I guess." And they're like, "Oh, no. I want something more than thanks. I want to borrow your Aipom for this Pokemon contest."
Yeah.
And he's like guilt tripped into saying yes to her.
I mean, he needs to do something important this episode, providing Aipom is it.
Yeah, because otherwise it would just be Dawn entering the contest and testing out her new Pachirisu. Right. So that's actually the most interesting part, though, is like, oh, T-Rocket's borrowing a Pokemon from our heroes, which I don't think has ever happened before.
No, and Ash is all like, Aipom doesn't want to do that, and Meowth's like, yeah, Aipom does, which is really the extent of the argument, because I think Ash is just dumbfounded by it.
He gives it easily to this.
I mean, what are you going to do? Aipom's like, I want to go into contests, and Ash, you aren't good at them.
Yeah, is that why? Because I was going to say, like, Ash could have said, oh, Aipom, I'll join with you. Yeah, but apparently he knows himself enough to be like, oh, I'm not going to be good enough, but Jessie is.
Because I think they tried contests back in Hoenn, and I really am struggling to remember my Hoenn stuff, but I think Aipom did try a contest with Ash at one point.
He tried it with Ash here in Jubilife City, actually. Right after the Poketch episode, they entered, and they got to the second round, but then lost the battle at the very last second. So I was like, maybe he could give it another shot. And this also that wasn't the last time that we'll see Ash in a contest. So that's why I'm also intrigued by his motivation here.
Aipom knows who the real winners are and chooses accordingly, and it's not Ash.
He can see the talent from a mile away.
He has seen the Elite Four leaderboard and says, "You are a constant loser. I'm gonna hitch my wagon to this rocket."
He's been with Ash since the last region. He knows what happens.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah, it's like, all right, Jessie. I'll give Jessie a shot. He's going for a test drive, basically.
Yeah.
And they decide to enter, and Dawn is like, all right, I'm going to use this time to check out my Pachirisu, which she caught recently. And Ash is still like very paranoid that Aipom is going to leave him for Jessie, so he's like spying on her, and she's just trying to practice some moves with Aipom, and like he shows her 2 of her 3 moves, and Brock says, "Oh, it's okay, Ash. I'm sure he won't Aipom won't reveal all its moves to Jessie." And then Jessie asks for the last move, and Ash is just devastated by this, which I don't really understand. I'm like, well, yeah, they're entering the contest. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, Ash is very insecure in this episode.
Yes.
I feel more like plot convenience
than
anything else. Like this, Aipom has been with you for a chunk of time.
Yeah. I think he might just be... His insecurities might also come from how affectionate Aipom seemed with Jessie.
Yeah. Well, Jessie doesn't have a hat to steal.
Right?
So, without a hat, the real love comes.
Yeah, he should have known that. Like, Jessie, no hat? Oh, Aipom's totally coming back to me after this.
I need the sweet haberdashery.
Yes. And once we cut over to the contest, they explain, it's not an official contest, you won't get a ribbon, but you get a year's supply of fruit, which is just bananas. Like a enormous bag of bananas.
The only fruit produced in whatever the heck town this is. Do they even give the town a name?
I think it's
just the upcoming town.
I don't even remember. Totally... Yeah, it's a new town. This doesn't exist in the games, but I can see. It does have a Nurse Joy, apparently. So she's there with the contest.
Nurse Joy. That family reproduces like Baneri.
Which we will see later on, some Nurse Joy lore, actually.
Yeah. We get some heavy nurse. Yeah, I'm like looking in Bulbapedia and they do not name the name.
Yeah.
It is
I'm not
just
finding
town.
It either.
They go to town. They go to contest.
It's like a village.
Banana Town. Contest Banana Town. It's known for 2 things: contests and bananas.
That's it. Nothing else. There aren't even houses here. We just see
there's a Nurse Joy, a stage, and bananas.
That's all you need. That's
the Pokemon world, people.
all the necessities of life right there.
Then Dawn goes first.
Yes.
And Pachiriso's nervous, which is cute for a
Yeah.
little bit. Like, I guess it's nice to see, like, it's the first time Pachiriso's actually performing, and Dawn, like, fixes the situation, which makes Dawn seem better. And they have a nice little thing, and then Pachiriso kills the entire audience.
Just electrocutes them with a discharge.
Just electrocutes all of them, and they're all fine with it. And Pachiriso's like, oops, I killed you all, haha.
But aren't I cute?
Aren't I cute?
The commentators are like still going as it's shocking them. And they're like, oh, okay then. Somehow you make it to the next round though.
Yeah, well, they make it to the next round because literally everybody else is terrible. It's like cutscene of everybody else failing except for the important part coming up, Jessie.
Yeah. There is a one moment in there where they show a Hitmontop that got dizzy while spinning. I'm like, you had one job.
How? The only thing you do. How are you not used to this? You had to prepare.
It's literally your like evolutionary path to be able to spin without this. But then we cut to the final performance, which is Jessie and Aipom. And I don't remember it too well, actually.
It's a lot of creating the Swift stars, which is still sort of a weird move anyways. I don't really get Swift in the game, because in the game you think, oh, it's just like fast-moving air, and they're representing that by stars. But in the anime, it's like, no, we just manifest stars.
Yeah.
And then and then Aipom apparently has telekinesis to control them to make them go into a circle.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions with how this move works, but I think it's really pretty, so I just ignore a lot of them.
And then apparently they're also physical manifestations because Aipom can smash them into dust. So I have a lot of questions about how Swift works in this world. Like, does everybody use it, and are there just stars just waiting to dissolve? Is there somebody who has to come in and smash them into dust? How are people dealing? Because this is like one of Eevee's big moves, and there are literally Eevee everywhere. I don't understand.
Does it?
Yeah, Eevee gets Swift.
I think I know Espeon does. I don't remember if Eevee learns it naturally, but I mean, like, I think this is mostly the animators thinking like, okay, we want to show off our 3D style of like doing these moves, because Swift before this point in the anime was just like very simple stars, just like ninja stars flying at someone. So I appreciate they put the time into this, especially because Aipom is prominently featured throughout this whole season. But it does work for them somehow, betraying every physics and all these questions we have about energy and the laws.
And the conservation of energy and creating energy out of nothing. Whatever. He does double team, and somehow all the double teams can make even more stars. Not how that moves works, but they just... Whatever.
Creative liberty all around.
It's all illusions. They're all suffering anyways because they're all electrocuted and are barely coming to their senses.
They're just seeing stars.
They're just seeing stars. Jessie, of course, wins because she's actually very good. Which is, I always appreciate the fact that, like, in this season, they really show that, no, Jessie's actually really good.
Capable, just like, talented, actually, if she puts the time into it.
Yeah, both Jessie and James are really good at things. They just aren't interested in doing those things. They're interested in being Team Rocket, which they are bad at. It's fine.
Right. It's the irony of talent versus time. But this leads to the final match here, with only two people going to the next round, being Dawn and Jessie.
Yep.
And this takes us to Aipom versus Pachirisu. And I
And Ash is mad that Aipom's doing well. It's like,
yes, he has a
dude.
little vision that's like Jessie taking Aipom off into the sunset and him like calling to it, but Aipom not responding.
Not responding. And like, you trained Aipom. This is your win.
Yeah.
Like,
you've done a really good job.
Calm down, Ash. Calm down with the drama. He is just insecurity drama this entire episode.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time with this battle understanding if they're trying to show that Dawn doesn't know what she's doing in this battle, or that Pachiriso doesn't know what she's doing in the battle, but it's not even close.
Yeah. I would go with the latter. I think it's more to show that Pachirisu, because we saw it be really nervous in the first round, and now here it's also kind of confused on what to do.
And again, the contest battles are super weird how they're decided, because it's like, oh, you did discharge, but the Swift made fireworks, and therefore Dawn loses points because it's super pretty. It's like, but they both.
It's kind of because Swift undercuts the discharge because it blocks it from like doing damage, and it also makes a nice like appealing move.
Yeah, the way they do battles in this whole thing is super weird. It's
like there's no official rules. It's kind of like how it to be interpreted.
The most subjective points lost. Oh, that was beautiful. You lose points.
Oh my gosh. There's a Hoenn episode where Jessie competes with Chimecho, and it uses like sing, and then it uses uproar, and it's like the most atrocious sound in the world, but she gets a 10 out of 10 from all the judges, and they're like, well, it was the last thing we expected to happen, so it was, and it shows Chimecho's appeal on both like a charming and like a loud Pokemon. So, yeah.
And then Aipom just knocks Pachiriso out with a punch. And ends the thing. Puts Dawn on finishing move.
Pachiriso is so cute. I can't wait to see more of it later, but yeah, Jessie's overjoyed. Team Rocket's also crying tears of joy as they take the winning spot here at the contest, and then they get presented with the fruit.
Actually, this is my favorite part of the show. Yes. I think they did this really well because they do their motto and steal the fruit, and are like, "Ha ha ha!" We have so surprised that they aren't coming back to them, and they're like, do they realize that that's theirs to take and they're not actually stealing anything? It's just a perfect, funny moment of like, yeah, you won that.
Right.
It's yours.
You're not doing anything wrong.
You're not doing anything wrong. And then Aipom runs to Jessie, breaking Ash's heart.
Yeah, and Jessie's like, could it be? Aipom wants to go with me?
I mean, Aipom wants to go with anybody but Ash. Let's be real. But Aipom really just wants the contest bananas.
Yes. It jumps onto the bananas, which they're hauling under their balloon as they drift away, and starts just eating them.
Yeah.
And Dawn and Brock point out to Ash, oh, look again, Aipom just wants the fruit, buddy. Yeah. He's just hungry after all that battling.
He created stars out of nothing. He needs to replenish that energy.
I think Aipom is actually a girl. I
believe Aipom's the girl.
Okay, yeah.
They do this extended banana peel tripping gag.
Yeah.
That never gets funny.
It's like, why? What? It's just kind of random.
It's just Ash constantly there's even supposed to be like a rule of 3, like by the 3rd time you're supposed to find it funny. But you don't, because it's just lame. Like they never
only happens twice, also, and it's just like it wasn't funny the first time.
Team Rocket tries to capture Aipom to stop from eating fruit, and Aipom destroys their mechanical arm, like always. And then Aipom blows up the balloon
with Swift, I believe.
And then Aipom comes back to Ash as he slips on a banana peel again. And then
the fruit like gets detached, so Team Rocket ends up blasting off without their
the thing
rightly
they
earned
won.
fruit.
They
Yeah,
won that. Whatever.
if they just didn't, it's like come back for it, I guess.
I mean, you can come back for it, like literally, and also you are right to get Aipom off of your well-earned fruit.
Mm-hmm. Aipom is literally the thief here.
Yeah, Aipom is in the wrong, and then Ash scolds Aipom for being wild. Like, dude, you know this. You know this about Aipom. And then Don's like, I think Aipom really wants to do contests. And Ash was like, no.
We're really
gyms
pushing this.
only.
He
Only
asks
gyms.
Aipom about it, and Aipom just responds by stealing the hat and running away again.
Yeah. And then that's how the thing ends.
Which is like, all right, like I guess there's one thing here established or like enforced, because we've already established this before with Aipom's interest of contest.
Yeah.
But like, you can probably skip this episode and the overall arc of this.
Just watch Jessie do well in the contest, and the part when they think they're stealing the bananas. Those are actually pretty funny. For a filler episode, it's not the worst. Because it does actually let some characters shine and sort of prove their worth of I can do these things.
And it's refreshing that we see a motivation of Team Rocket not be Pikachu, and they're also using Aipom. So there's like the thing that kind of flops here is the stakes that they try to establish with Aipom's loyalty. But other than that, it's actually a pretty good setup.
And there's still no bad faith. There's nothing.
Well, like,
bad faith is an intent to deceive. Nobody is deceived in this entire episode.
Jessie never even tries to like take off with Aipom.
No, they don't even steal. Aipom runs after them. There's not even like, ha ha ha, now that we have Aipom, we're going to steal Aipom. None of that happens.
I think the bad faith is Ash's trust in Aipom.
I mean,
like that's kind of it. Like, and they even really shoehorn that in throughout the episode. So not the smoothest.
I
but
think it's bad faith is Ash's belief that Aipom wants to fight in gyms. It's not a good title.
Yeah, I think they were going for the play on words, but it doesn't really land as well as I think they wanted it to. Some trivia about this episode. It was originally aired as a part of a 1-hour special celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Pokemon anime. The opening theme was skipped initially in the broadcasts, and 4Kids background music was actually used in this episode. So if anyone's paying attention to that, they were the ones who were putting out the anime before, or like in prior seasons. So it's interesting that they pulled that out. They also used stock footage of Eric Stewart and Michael Haggany, I believe, to voice Squirtle and Hitmontop in that montage.
They didn't have to pay those actors. Nice. I disagree on Bulbapedia's dub edits because bananas don't exist in the Pokemon world.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Bananas are referred to as fruits instead. Well, I mean, they've never established that bananas are in there except on the lower half of Tropius, which I'm still not even sure that they call those bananas because it's the Nana. What is it? What is the banana one?
Nanab berry? It's either that or I think they actually just say fruit in some of the Pokedex entries.
Yeah, I mean they're all just called fruit.
Just to keep it simple.
Nanab berry, which is
Nanabe.
The name of that. Like, okay. And don't call a banana is a fruit.
Yeah, it works either way. Just go with it. Like, or just include more fruit in this collection because it's all just one. So, like, make it obvious because I also don't think someone would like eating that same thing like every day for a year.
I mean, the one in it's free.
Yeah. Also, it's gonna go bad. Like, how long do these things last?
I thought it'd be like a year of doled out. So, nah, you get it all at once, and good luck, because it will rot.
They get scammed. It's the real.
That's the bad faith.
Yeah. The village
Bad
is all
faith.
scam to get rid of this fruit that's going to go bad.
It's got a day left. We've been holding on to it for a year. Good luck.
Oh, man. Well, anyway, what would you rate this episode of Diamond and Pearl 22, Borrowing on Bad Faith?
Apart from the bad title, I would say it's I think it's a solid 6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, I agree.
It's not completely wasted. There's character development. There's a couple of funny parts. For a filler episode, it's pretty well done.
Yeah, I kind of like it as well because it's not a character of the day episode.
Yeah.
Where sometimes they get the development for some reason. So it's nice to see this happening in multiple levels. Like Ash gets this weird character arc, but also Jessie gets to shine, and Dawn gets some experience with Pachirisu, which is pretty wholesome clustering of character development. So yeah, I would also give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a solid 6.
Yeah. So kind of question of the day here. What do you think would be another Pokemon that'd be interesting for Team Rocket to borrow, either for a contest or some other situation that our heroes have on them? We've actually seen Jessie use Croagunk before it was caught by Brock, but I'm wondering if there's any other Pokemon that come to mind.
I mean, I honestly, they should just borrow Pikachu.
Yeah.
Just borrow Pikachu for they do it every once in a while where Pikachu fights on their side, but just like
show that dynamic and what happens. There was like one episode in Hoenn where Pikachu got amnesia and joined Team Rocket, but that's not quite the same thing. I still kind of want to see the morality, or of like the inner turmoil that Pikachu faces. But yeah, that kind of seems like the one I would choose as well. But yeah, this has been another episode of Sights on Sinnoh. Greg, thanks so much for coming by and sharing your thoughts on this.
Sure.
And if people are interested in listening more to you, what are some projects that you have going on, and where can people find them?
You can find me on Twitter at White Wing. You can find my actual play podcast, Very Random Encounters, and you can hear me on the Pokemon podcast, It's Super Effective.
Perfect. And if you want to watch episodes of this season with us, you can actually go to Pokemon.com and click on Pokemon TV, which has the season up at the moment. They may rotate out in the future, though, so try to catch it when you can. And yeah, it's a great place to just watch episodes, and you can download them on your phone. I like doing that because it's also easier to scroll in there, because for some reason you have to keep clicking on the browser version of the site to get to further episodes. So really, really cool service. I've used it to watch so much of the anime, so feel free to go there and watch it, and then come here and listen to our thoughts, or listen to us first and then check that out. But again, this has been episode 22, and next time we'll be jumping into 2 more episodes of the Diamond and Pearl anime. My name is William.
I'm Greg.
And we will see you in Sinnoh.
Woo!
Bye!